Hey guys, it's Laurel. Today is Tuesday, September 5th. I am a few days late from my normal filming schedule. Life's just been busy. I had said in the last video that there were some busy times coming up for our family, and it started with this past weekend. So I had hoped maybe I could squeeze a video in Saturday morning, but there was just too much going on. We had a wedding to go to in Virginia. So we went to that, and that was most of the evening. I spent the morning cleaning up because my son's girlfriend was coming over to watch the dogs for us. So, wanted to spruce the house up a little bit. So I was like, okay, I don't want to squeeze it in, just make a mess. And then yesterday, Monday, holiday. I hope everybody had a great holiday weekend. I did have to work half a day, so I thought maybe when I got home yesterday, I would film some. But again, I got home and it was just a continuation of I need to get some laundry done from being gone over the weekend, yada, yada, yada. So time just kind of got away, and I didn't want to not film a video because this coming Saturday, we will have a busy day. It's my niece's bridal shower, and we're having a family cookout. So if I didn't film sometime this week, I would just miss a whole episode of talking to my friends. So I didn't want to do that. So anyway, I'm glad you're here. I have a ton of new subscribers. So welcome to all of you that came back, subscribed, are willing to sit through a little bit of babbling with me. So I hope you like what you see, and I hope you stick around, and I hope you tell your friends. So I knew that something was going on because when I got up yesterday morning, overnight, I got 40 new subscribers. I haven't gotten 40 new subscribers in the last probably, 2-3 months put together. So I was like, oh, okay, somebody mentioned me. So I went on my little channel and I looked at mentions, and I didn't see anything. And I was like, oh, well, not everybody puts stuff in their description box. So I was like, well, somebody obviously mentioned me. So maybe somebody will tell me who mentioned me. So I get ready, driving to work. I sometimes will listen to FLOSSTUBE on my way to work. I don't have the phone here. I'm safe. I'm just listening. And I was listening to Carol, Saltbox Stitcher. I got almost to work. I was getting ready to pull in the parking lot. She said my name and my FLOSSTUBE channel on her channel, Carol, Saltbox Stitcher. So I understand that we all are just people, but Carol is not just people. So I was floored when I tell you, floored. So Carol, if you are watching this, God bless you, and thank you for the mention, and I wish you lived next door because we would be friends. We're still friends. We just don't know that we're friends, right? That's how it is with all of us. So anyway, very appreciative of that and appreciative of my new subscribers. I will say, since I do have some new ones that have come, I do normally split my FLOSSTUBE into 2 segments. I have a cross stitch section that I do first, and then I do quilting at the end. I do not have any quilting today because, sorry, always happens. I do not have any quilting today because I spent the last 2 weeks. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. My son and I just went to dinner, and I wolfed my food down real fast, and it's hurting me a little bit. But I don't have quilting to show you because I spent the last 2 weeks, every bit of quilting time that I had was dedicated to my niece's quilt. And I'll just talk about that after the cross stitch, just in case you're not interested in that. But if you are, hang out and I'll tell you a little story. Okay, so Start-itis is a thing in my world right now. I want to start everything. I just want to start everything. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on in the video. I have 2 finishes. I have some whip update. I do have some other stuff that I worked on that I didn't bring to show because it was just, I might have had 20 minutes or something, put some stitches in. But I do want to mention just a couple people that had commented on my last video. This one, I have to read it to you word for word because it's so funny. It just cracked me up. So I'm sure that you all know Chris the Camping Stitcher. So in the last video, I had asked you if you could only pick one designer to stitch for the rest of your life, which I know is an impossible thing to ask, who would you pick? This is by far the best answer that I received. Let me find it because it's so funny. Okay, Chris says, if I had to pick one designer, I'd pick Blackbird, Gervais, House Street. So if anybody ever asks you that question, who's your favorite designer, you can answer with something like that. Blackbird, Gervais, House Street. So Chris, I love that. That just cracked me up. It just made me giggly. I feel like that should be a cross stitch pattern for you. My favorite designer is. Just put the names. So, and if y'all don't know, I'm sure, I can't imagine anybody doesn't know, but Chris is designing now, and her charts are so cute. Oh my goodness, like so cute. Annie's designing now, and her charts are so cute. And I have to tell you, it's kind of funny because my husband, he's all on board with me doing this FLOSSTUBE channel, and he thinks it's funny, and he loves that I get giddy over stuff. And he actually knows who I'm talking about when I say Brenda and Laura, or I say Carol, or I say Chris, or I say Annie, or I say Olivia. Like, he knows that it's my FLOSSTUBE people. It's just funny. Husbands are funny. So anyway, so I'm going to show you my two finishes first. And I didn't take these charts out of the bag because you've seen them already. The other stuff I did take out, but I wasn't going to mess with taking these out. So my first finish is Hands-On Design, a vintage stitch 2 hexie. I did this one. I did not fully finish it yet. I did get to watch her video, and it's very, very good. If you are nervous, if you're doing this and you're nervous about the process of doing this, don't be nervous. Just watch her video. It's very, very good. I love her tutorial type videos. She does a very good job of explaining. So I use the called for threads, and this is stitched on a piece of 32 count straw linen. And there's my finish. I just love it. It's cute. Now in her, in the pattern, she says that up here, she kind of crisscrossed these so they kind of interwove between each other. I didn't do that, but I think it looks just fine. But I do like that. And I do plan on doing this one also, but I want to finish this one first because it's bigger, just so I can work on the process and how it works with the finishing fabric. So very, very excited about that. Here I go with very, very excited. It should be on a t-shirt somewhere. I'm very, very excited about. All right, next one I finished is the Scarlet House in Twine Hearts, and you can tell I don't feel like that is all crinkled up. It is used and well loved. I should probably get some like nice plastic sleeves for when I'm done to put it in. The chart itself is fine, but the outside, because I carry these back and forth to work and everywhere. Now, I will say, I thought that this was like super neon red in my last video because it looked that way to me. It is bright red, but it didn't, when I watched it back, it didn't look quite as bright. But here is my finish of Entwined Hearts by the Scarlet House. I have loved this since the minute I saw it. It is stitched on 25 count Tomato Lugana by Lori Holt that I coffee tea dyed. And I just want to show you, I had talked about these stitches. I don't know if you can tell. I had thought that they were eyelets when I first purchased the chart, but they're just cross stitches. So there's nothing that's not a full cross on here. There's no crazy hard stitches. So if this is something you've been looking at, it's a great chart to do. So pick your favorite choice of fabric, you know, Ada, linen, Lugana, Monaco, whatever is your favorite, and it'll just be beautiful, I'm telling you. Because again, Scarlet House, like, she is, I love all her stuff. I have a plan for all these charts and stuff that I have, and I'll talk about that at the end. I have an idea about how to intermingle some of my stuff so that I can still buy the new stuff and make a dent in my old stuff. But speaking of Scarlet House, I did work a little bit more, not a lot, on Charlotte Murdoch. Now, I did say incorrectly in the last video, I am stitching this on 28 count wheat Lugana. I said it right the first time, and then I said it was mushroom. It is not mushroom I'm using. It is wheat. It would look good on mushroom, but I'm using wheat. So I'm using the called for floss, which is really pretty. It's a good mix. I like these tealies in here. And this is where I am. So I had the top band done in the last video. I just filled in some letters and started on this checkerboard. The F right here is this color, which is also the color on the checkerboard. So I went ahead and did the white first so that I could do the darker after it. So that one's come along nicely. And it still fits in my mode. I'm still very much in sampler mode. I had a moment where I thought I would go through my current charts. I mean, I kind of have them on a spreadsheet, but I got to update it and stuff. But I thought I would go through there and kind of pick out some more that I wanted to do. But I need to just like not put temptation in front of me, because I have a chart in my cart that I want to start with the floss and the linen and everything. I have another one that I have the floss in the chart. I just need the linen that I really want to do. And then I have all these started. So, and then Brenda and Laura in the last video, Laura showed a chart. I cannot remember the name of it, but it's by Scarlet House. It's one that she had a bunch done on. And I remember I ordered the chart because I had seen somebody that had done it. And it was beautiful. Or had started, and it was beautiful. And then when I got it, I was like, why did I order this? Because it's different colors. It's like yellows and green hues, and it's just different. It's very different. It has I think it has a horse down at the bottom. But anyway, it's Scarlet House. And after that video, it was Laura that showed that in their last video. Brendan the Serial Starter was in their last video. Go look and see when Laura is showing her whips. There is a beautiful Scarlet House sampler that will be one of my next starts coming soon. The next piece I worked on is it's my Sunday stitch, but I did work on it for several days after Sunday because Entwine Hearts was my focus whip for this month. And if you're new, I have a focus whip that I pick every month. I have them on a list, and I use American Patchwork and Quilting's UFO numbers that they draw every month to pick my cross stitch whip. So Entwine Hearts was my whip for last month, for August. I did finish it, and I had 4 or 5 days left that, you know, I didn't have anything. I could have done my whip go pieces, but I just decided, I was like, let me just pick something. Now, as I said, I had been working on my niece's quilt, and I needed Sunday to finish it. I had wanted to get it in the mail last Monday. I didn't get it until last Tuesday, and it's not back yet, and I'm a little nervous because the shower is Saturday, so I need to get it back so I can get the binding on it. But side trail there, I don't know where my mind was going, but anyway, I had some extra days. So since I had used my Sunday stitching time working on the quilt, is where I was going with this, I went ahead and worked a few days on Though He Seemeth Sleeping by Lucy Bean. And I hope y'all aren't sick of looking at this yet, because it's just so pretty. It's so pretty. I just love it so much. I'm using the DMC conversion that is included. Now, I will say there are a few of these colors. I'm pretty close to the bottom, like the last third. There's some of these colors that haven't been used yet. Like, I haven't used this purple. And I'm not a purple hater. Like, I like purple. I don't mind it. I have not used this, like, brighter blue color. Haven't used this yellow color. So I'm looking very forward to getting down to the end of this and seeing how those colors play along with the other ones. So again, this is on a piece of, oh, I got a lot going on here with my, hold on. I got a wild thread hanging kind of funny. This is on a piece of 28 count. I don't know why I feel like I need to read everything upside down. 28 count Lugana Silver Fox by Fiber on a Whim. And I love it on this. I really do. I did look, I talked last time that maybe I'd have enough of this left to do Lucy Owen by Scarlet House. I won't, so I'll have to order another piece. But this is where I am. So I can't remember exactly where I was, but I finished this row, got about half of this row, got the bulk of the leaves in, and I think the last, or the third row of the verse, there's still one more. And then I just have these pieces down at the bottom and a couple little doodaddy things right here. So this one you should see finish before too long. I've really enjoyed working on this Lugana. I really like it. I like the color of it. I'm not much about this much color normally in a sampler, but this just works. It's just so pretty. And I know there's some people out there working on this, so if you are working on it, use that hashtag Stitching with the Nerd. If there's anything that we're working on together, just use that hashtag, and I'll put that down in the description box below along with my Instagram and all that stuff. And then keeping with samplers, like I said, I was in sampler mode. I got Try to Mark Well out. Last time I had the first 2 rows done and the little decorative rows under it. So my plan was to come down and just do this T and then go straight to the tomato, but I actually started over here and came over, and I have started the tomato now. I'm using the listed DMCs. It also has, I guess that's a Veriswa 103 silks, but I got the DMCs. And I am stitching this on 32 count Heritage Lugana by Picture This Plus. I'm trying to do better about showing my floss and listing my fabric. So if I do real good this time or real bad next time, just remind me that I'm not calling out the right thing. Or if I do something silly like last time and you just want to know, just, you know, send me a message and say, hey, or comment or whatever, and say, what was you thinking? Because you said 2 different things. But anyway, I really like how this shows up on here. I'll put it a little closer. I think those colors just play really nicely. And I don't know, since it's kind of evening, my light's a little funny, so I'm sorry. But I like it. I can't wait to get the rest of that tomato in. This is, you know, I know we all say this. This is probably one of my favorite charts. And they're all one of my favorite charts. So that is whips that I worked on. Now, like I said, I've had a bit of start-itis. And I said in the last video that I had decided to make my Mondays something to look forward to. So I was going to just have some new starts on Monday until I decided that I had started enough things. So that's what I've been doing. So I do not have all the colors for this still yet. Oh no, hold on, drop something. I thought there was only a couple I'm missing, but I'm actually missing like 4, I think. So I'll just have to go to my LNS and do some shopping. This is Fanny's Flowers. This is by Shakespeare's Peddler. So pretty. So pretty. So I am doing this on the called for linen, 36 count flax. And I'm using the called for colors. So this is where I am. I love the daintiness of that red coming across. So, and a couple of these colors are ghosty. Like you can see on the chart. Sorry, I'm shaky again today. You can see on the chart they're a little bit ghosty, and it really doesn't bother me. Ghosty does not bother me. I saw someone, and I wish I could remember who it was. It was on Instagram, and they actually did an entire samplerish looking cross stitch, and it was all, the floss was say they did it on, I think it might have actually been pink. The fabric was pink overdyed, and then the floss was pink overdyed. It was just a shade off. It was beautiful. It was really stunning. So I really like that. Okay, so then the following Monday was the Monday also that I had to devote to getting the quilt finished. So I was like, well, I guess I just won't start anything that Monday. But Monday, I got in the mail Jane Thompson from the Scarlet House. This was an exclusive on the Homespun Needlework Facebook group. I have been in that group for quite a while. I always look at the exclusives when they come out. I always ooh and ah, and then I don't order them. Because in my mind, I'm like, that's just a lot of money. And then, as I have started to order some of the linen for bigger projects, I'm seeing the price of that, and then I'm comparing it to the kit that comes already together with everything that you need, not bits and pieces and trying to get the linen later and everything. And it's not a bad price. It's actually a decent price. So I was like, okay, two things. I really wanted to order an exclusive just so I could say my exclusive came. And it's Scarlet House, y'all. Look at this. Is that not beautiful? Beautiful, beautiful. This border is so different. I just love it. So this came on Monday, and again, I was working on the quilt. So I was like, I'm not going to get to start it today. So Tuesday, I'm at work, and I was a little bit bummed because I was like, man, I really wanted to start that last night because I got it, and I could do that for Sampler September, but I didn't start it, and it's Monday, and I was like, then I'll just start it tonight. So that's what I did. So Tuesday night I got home, put all my floss on a ring. It does come with this snazzy corner gauge, and I know a lot of people have shown this, so you've probably already seen it, but it has a little shepherd's needle logo. Their envelope has that on it. It was so cool. I was like, oh, it was so exciting to get that in the mail. It is on a piece of 36 count linen. That's the option that I chose, 36 count. It is, I'm pretty sure that it said it's from Needle and Flax, but I don't think it has a name. So I worked on it that Tuesday night, and then probably maybe 2 other nights I was working on something else, and I just wanted to give it just a little bit of attention. So I did jump over and do a little bit. So I'm not going to show you the whole giant piece because this is all that's on it, but look. I mean, is that not neat? Ooh, I love that. So I'm very excited to get this border going. I just think the whole thing is beautiful, but I love when there's a different border that you're just not used to seeing, something a little bit different. And maybe this has been on another sampler and I just haven't been around long enough to know it, but that's so pretty. It's so pretty. Okay, so you can tell, I'm in full-blown geek mode over just starting everything right now. And if you remember, I've said, I don't know if it was the last video or video before, but I'm trying to get where my whips don't have birthdays. So I think on something like this, I might have it in my head that it can have one birthday. I don't know. We'll see. So I have one thing, and I'm just starting this for my 2023s. The stuff before is just going to have to get woven in. I have something from January 23 that I haven't finished, but I think it's doable. And then I don't have anything else that I haven't already finished from this year until March. And then I have that one big piece in March, and then I think that would get me through to Mania, which were all smaller pieces. So I think I might can make that happen. But again, new charts coming out, new stitch alongs. They get me every time. They just get me. So today I watched Lauren, New Hampshire Stitcher. She had beautiful whips like she always does. And then she also was talking about her back to school sow. Even if you're not interested in participating in the sow, I do encourage you to look up that hashtag. And it's hashtag BAP, B-A-P, to school, S-A-L. If for nothing else, just for inspiration. Like there are, I don't even know how many posts are on there already, but there are, I'm going to say, at least 3 or 4 that I've already added to my wish list that I had never seen before. So it's a really good spot for some inspiration, for seeing some new stuff if you're interested. If you do like bigger samplers, and again, the BAP, there's no guidelines to that. It could be that a BAP to you is 100 by 100 because you haven't done one that big. I chose out of my BAPs, I have several charts that are over 300 in one direction, so I wanted to pick one out of there, but it doesn't have to be giant. You can really make anything fit into this. There are no guidelines. Nobody is going to tell you that doesn't qualify because there's no qualifiers for it. It's just something to have a good time. It's a brilliant idea. It is absolutely brilliant that she came up with this. But my piece is Consider the Lilies. I didn't get to start it on September 1st. Again, I work in accounting, so the first of the month is a little bit different for me schedule-wise and work and what days are heavier and lighter and all that. So, but I have gotten a couple evenings on it. And if you recall, I only bought so far my border green, which is Oscar. I don't know why I had to look at that. It's Oscar. I am stitching this on 36 count Vintage Country Mocha, which I know is not everybody's thing, but that's okay. That's okay. So this is how far I got. So my plan is, which could change, but my thought, I'll say, not even my plan. My thought is to do this outline all the way around, and then I would like to alternate and do a flower, a motif, a flower, a motif, a flower, a motif. Now, I'm sure there's more motifs in here than flowers, but that will give me a little bit of back and forth and just kind of break up a little bit of monotony with it. So if I get just the border done this month, I will be happy with that and feel like I've accomplished something, and it's just a plus if I get more. And if I don't get the border, I'm not going to stress about it. So I am curious how many of y'all are doing this stitch along. I know Rebecca, she's I feel like she started out. I know she posted that she was going to start it. She has her stuff. So I like to see where y'all are, Rebecca. I want to see. Maybe you can keep me motivated. If you're getting a whole bunch done, then I can look at yours and I'll be like, oh, I got to hurry up. Rebecca lives close to me. We had a little chat back and forth. She lives close, so one day we're going to have a stitching day or something together. I don't know if you know that, Rebecca, but we are. We're going to figure something out. Okay. So that is all of what I have worked on. So now I want to talk a little bit about plans. I still have Start-itis. I still want to start a bunch of things. I keep track of all my stuff in Book of Days like a lot of people do. I know, I would say over the last, I don't know, 2-3 weeks, there's several of the floss tubers that I've watched that have talked about doing 24 starts in 24. And I was like, oh, and you know, some people are like, oh, that's a lot of starts. I don't know. Well, I got my book out and I looked, and I have kind of a quirky way of doing stuff in my book of days. And I talk about that in my, like it was the beginning of the year video, and I'll talk about it again in January. I'm not going to go into detail right now because y'all be like, we don't care, Laurel. Quit talking about that. But in the back, I write down all of my starts for that year. So I was like, let me just see how many things I've started this year. 2, 4, 6. I've already started 21 this year, and it's beginning of September. So I could easily start 24 if I'm on that same track. Now, out of those, what did I just say? Out of those 21, I have finished I finished 10. So I finished half of what I started. And I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of what's left are fairly small ones. So I feel like I could do 24 starts, you know, if that's a thing. I don't know if it'll be a hashtag or anything, but I think I could do that. So then I was like, okay, so do I want to start 24 brand new things? Like, is this like new stuff I want to start from the new releases, which I haven't ordered any of the new releases yet. I'm so proud of myself. The only reason I haven't is because I don't know how much this quilt is costing to get quilted, so I want to get my bill for that before I go ordering a bunch of stuff. But I was like, 24, that wouldn't be bad. So then I was like, okay, so if I start 24, how would I do that? And I said, well, I would like to, originally I said, I have a lot of big stuff, but you want to keep something little going too, so you can finish stuff and feel good about it. So I was like, I could start something big, then start something little, then start something big, then start something little. And I was like, yeah, but then, you know, I have so many charts here that I know we all have that I haven't touched. So I was like, maybe I should do a new start or a new chart, start on a new chart, start on a stash chart, new stash, new stash, new stash. So I think that's what I might do. And I don't think I'm necessarily going to put numbers on it or dates that I'm going to start. I'm just, when I have a hankering for a new start, I'll just rotate that. One from stash, something new. One from stash, something new. Which I know once you buy it, it's in your stash. So I get that, and I play that game too. So that's fine. But I really have, when I get in organization mode and I go through my charts and stuff, there's just so many that I'm like, oh, I just want to start this so bad. So I want to incorporate that in. So I'll talk about that more in January. And I may even go ahead and start that with what I start new. So, you know, I have these new things started, so I might go back and pull something from stash and start. So we'll see. When I see you in a couple of weeks, we'll see if I started anything. Now I want to talk about WhipGo and my focus piece. So WhipGo, I decided to do this year, again, for those of you that are new, my WhipGo goals are to work on each WhipGo piece drawn just for an hour. And the reason I did only an hour is I'm not trying to upset my whole cart of things. I truly just wanted all my whips on the board so that I could work on them for an hour and determine, is that still something I want to stitch? Or is that something that needs a restart later down the line? Is it something that needs to be completely UFO'd? Is it something that I need to get to a good stopping point and call it a day with that one? And that's worked very well for me. So the 2 WhipGo pieces that were called for this past time, I am very excited about because I love both of them. So I think I have UFO'd all that I'm going to UFO off my WhipGo chart, and it was only 2 things. But the first one that got called is Penny Autumn. I first started this one after Michelle with Penny's Daughter Shares finished hers, which has been, a long time ago. hers turned out so cute. And if you watch her video, she actually has it up behind her. I'm sorry. I have acid reflux and it just kills me. It just kills me. I'm sure you wanted to know all my personal information like that. But she has hers on the shelf behind her. So if you go over and watch her, you'll see it. It's so pretty. So pretty. I don't know why I don't have this done yet. I don't know why it's been such a bear for me. I haven't had it out in a while. And I haven't had it out since I started stitching on 36 count. So I feel like I should make some progress on it this time, because I am going to get my magnifiers out and use them. And I think that'll probably make a difference. Now, I have a sad story about this, and I'm sure I've already told you. I had the house done. Completely done. I had to take out that much of it because I stitched it in the wrong color. I was very, very sad. So, but, I mean, I've got everything on this side I think is done. I think, you know, I need to put beaks on the birds. But the rest is done. So, I feel like I'll probably get more than an hour on this because I do really like it. After I've said I'm so busy with family stuff this month, and I'm going to show you 100,000 things I'm working on. But, so Penny Autumn, so that's one of my whip goes. And then my second whip go, ooh, Blackbird. This one I started, not this past year, or maybe this past year. I don't know. I started for our anniversary. It is called Anniversary, right? Anniversary, happiness to you, dear friends. Lots of people have finished this. This one, and there's another one in here that just a ton of people have done. And I wasn't sure which one I wanted to start. This is the other one. That's so pretty. It's so pretty. But I decided whenever I finally got to this book, it was right around our anniversary. So I was like, I think I want to do that. So I started. I don't know if I will finish it in the heart pillow like they have it, but you never know. You never know what maybe. I don't ever know what to do with my threads that are hanging off of here. This is where I am. Well, I feel like I got pretty far considering I could barely see the holes in it. And this is it's a picture of this plus, I know. Heritage, 32 count Heritage. If you had told me before this was a 32 count, I'd have told you were crazy. And I am stitching 2/2. It probably would have showed up fine, 1/2, but I wasn't doing any single strand stitching at the time. But I do like this. So I hope to have some progress on this one to show you. Again, because I love it. Now I am having a little bit of a dilemma because I do cross stitch at work during my lunch hour, and I'm running out of higher, what am I trying to say? Lower count but bigger X's. I'm running out of those projects because my taste has changed. So I don't have as many portable projects that I don't need my magnifiers or good lighting. So I think I'm going to go on Amazon and buy that little travel light that everybody's talking about that I can just put in my bag I carry to work. And I'll just take my magnifying glasses with me. I'm in a room with nobody else when I'm doing it, so they won't see how goofy I look with them. But like I said, I am running out of traveling pieces and car pieces. I always have something I stitch in the car. Like if me and my husband are out running around on Saturday, I try to have something to stitch in the car, but I'm running out of those too. So I have to think about, you know, am I going to switch my car stuff over to something like hand quilty, or am I just going to keep something going on like a 28 count Lugana, because I can do that in the car. So I don't know. I got to think about that. So anyway, those are my 2 whip go pieces. And then I have my focus piece again that I use the American Patchwork and Quilting, what was drawn was Rosewood Manor and a forest screw. Every single person that I have seen finish this, it is gorgeous. Whether they are stitching on 14 count Aida all the way up to, 56 count linen or some crazy, I don't even know if that's the right crazy count, but one of the crazy high counts. They're all beautiful. This is just so beautiful. So when I started this, I was only doing Aida, but I think I was actually really only doing 14 count Aida, but I did get a piece of 16 count, I think is what this is. So it is a good Aida piece, so I would be able to see it. The problem with traveling with this is if you have seen this, if you have ever done this chart or if you own it, there's a gazillion and a half colors. I mean, just a gazillion and a half. So, and it's a lot of do 10 X's in this color, then do 3 of this, and then do 7 of this one, and then do 4 of a different one. It's a lot of color change within each motif. So it would be hard. I mean, I guess if I planned it good, I could pull the right colors out every day and take that and work on at lunch. So I don't know. I have to think about how I'm going to do that. But when I started it, my intention was I had started it as a New Year's start, and I was going to have it done by the end of that year. That didn't happen. That was maybe 3 years ago. And let me just show you what I have done. It's not even the equivalent of what would have been January. So it's a fail, but it's not a fail because I love it and it's okay. And I'm going to enjoy working on it for the next 100 years till it gets done. Ooh, something weird just happened with my lighting. Ooh. Okay, it came back a little bit. I'm sorry. And if this is like really bad lighting, I do apologize. If this is your first time watching me and I sound like a babbly mess or my sound is weird or my lights, just come back one more time. Come back and watch another one. Don't just watch one. Give me a second chance. But anyway, this is where I am. So I like it. Like I said, it is Aida, but I don't care. I like Aida. I'm good with that. And this is just floss showing through. And it is a big enough piece. I just have it folded up. You don't need to see just a bunch of white. Now, I know there's a gap right here. So what had happened was there was a tree in this area. I stitched it. I came down, stitched this. And I remember I was stitching on this tree and my eye just kept going back up to this tree. It just kept going up and it kept going up and it kept going up. And I was like, what is the problem? It was horrible. It was horrible. The stitches laid horrible. I don't even know if I would have tried to make it look that bad. I couldn't have done it. I don't know. So I stopped working on the tree. I came up. I ripped that out. I put it away and it hasn't been out since. Not because I don't love it. I wasn't mad at it or anything. But I just had, squirrels. And I had seen something else that caught my eye and started on something else. So when I come back, I'll finish this tree and then I'll come back up here and do this. I would like to work my way over across the top and come over and get to the verse and put that in and then come back and finish all my trees. But I don't know. We'll see. If I get anything done on it, it's a win. It'll make me happy. So I really like this one. He's really cool. And this is super pretty. These birds, I had a little crack up moment because I took art in high school and I remember we were doing something with watercolors and I did some, view of the sun rising up over the ocean or whatever. And my teacher was like, oh, that's really good, Laurel. That's really good. He was real encouraging. And then I did these little birds like this with the little doot doot like that. And he was so mad at me. He was like, Laurel, you are a 4th year art student and I cannot believe you did the little M birds. He said, no. And I got a bad grade for that. So when I was stitching these, I was like, oh, Mr. Patterson, he would not be happy. He would not be happy about my birds. But he's not watching this. I feel certain. So hopefully you'll see a lot of progress on these things. Again, I do apologize that I do not have any quilting. I do want to try to do better with that, because I was really on a good row with like having something to show you every time. But this wedding quilt has just thrown me for a loop. So if you're new, my niece is getting married in October. I sent her several patterns of quilts. Let me start at the beginning. Any of my nieces and nephews, when they get married, I want to make them a quilt. None of them care anything about a quilt, but I want to, when I'm dead and gone, for them to go, you know, she made me a quilt for my wedding. I don't care what they do with it. I am one, when I give you a quilt, it is your quilt. I don't need to know what you did with it. I don't need to see it displayed. I don't need to see it. I just don't want to see it at Goodwill, at my Goodwill. If you're going to give it to Goodwill, just go to another city and give it to them. But I'm not about all that. I just need them to know that I love them enough, that I put these stitches and I spent this time and I prayed over this quilt when I was making it for them to have a long, happy marriage. And that's just what I want to do as an aunt for my nieces and nephews. So every one of them that's got married so far, I ask them, is there a certain pattern that you would like, certain colors? One of them actually picked out a pattern, said I could pick the colors. My niece that's getting ready to get married, I sent her a few patterns because she said she didn't really care. So I sent her a few patterns. She picked one out of the patterns, sent me a picture of her table setting that showed all the colors that are in her wedding. I picked the colors out and made the quilt. So she knows what it's going to look like, but she hasn't seen the fabrics. So I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago, I just had a thought. My sister-in-law, her mom, lives right down the street from us. And I sent her a message and I said, you know, I just had a thought. Like, I'm working on Katie's quilt over the next couple of weeks. Do you want to come down and put a couple stitches in it? I just thought that would be really nice. If it is something that she keeps down the road, she could say, my mom helped make this. So her mom said, absolutely. So one day, week before last, she came down. She brought her husband, my brother-in-law, and my other niece, the niece that's getting married, her sister. So they came. So it wound up all three of them together did one of the blocks in the quilt. So in the quilt, like say if this would have been the block that they did, this is not her quilt, but if this would have been the block they did, I took one of those decorative stitches on my machine and just in the little V right here, I put a special little stitch so that even when it comes back, when she looks at it, she will know that that particular block is the one that her family put stitches in. Which to me, I think is the sweetest thing ever because I'm a quilter and I just, oh, that's so sweet. Other people are probably like, what's wrong with you? That's so weird. But anyway, so they came and did that. So I'm super excited about that. I'm just, like I said, I'm a little bit on edge because I thought it would be back by now. But I did mess up and I didn't think about the holiday. So, which she got it like Wednesday last week. And I have to tell you, my long arm quilter, she has me spoiled rotten. She is so fast, so fast. So I should not take her for granted and wait till the last minute to send something, but I do every time. But she always comes through. So even if it's late, it will come and it will be beautiful and I'll just give it to her at the wedding. But it's done and just the weight lifted off just that it's done. Now, it's a bear. It's a very big quilt. So it'll take a little bit to do binding, but that's okay because I love to do binding. Love it, love it. So once that one is done, I will post a picture on my Instagram, or probably after I give it to her. If I'm able to give it to her this weekend, I'll post a picture on my Instagram. And again, that'll be listed down below. I do keep my Instagram separate, one for quilting, one for cross stitch. Why I do the video all together, I don't know, because my mind just works that way. So, but once that one's done, I have a couple new quilts I want to start. I have a couple more that I need to get at least 2 more sent to the long arm quilter this year to have those done. I have one that is intended to be gifted on Thanksgiving Day. I don't know if I have mentioned this on my channel before, but I didn't do it last year because my daughter was away at basic. And if you've watched me any amount of time, you hear me whine and cry about my young'un being grown and making decisions on her own and joining the Air Force and making her mama miss her. But last year she was at basic, so I didn't do it last year, but the year before I started doing something that I refer to as Quiltsgiving. So Thanksgiving has always been my favorite holiday. I really, really love Thanksgiving because it's all of the family time and the get-togethers and the good food without the stress of the presents. So I just had a thought one day, and I was like, I've reached a point in my quilting life where I have plenty of quilts around the house, and I feel like I want to share quilts with people. Last year I gave away like 5 quilts at Christmas, and I loved it. It was great. I can't really do that every year because it's a lot, but I just enjoy doing that. So I was like, I want to do for every year at Thanksgiving, because it's unexpected. Nobody expects to get a gift on Thanksgiving. So every year at Thanksgiving, I want to give a quilt to someone that just deserves it, or just somebody that I'm thinking about, or somebody that's had a hard year, or just whatever reason I come up with for that particular person. I want to pick a person every year and give them a quilt. So if you're not a quilter that gives quilts out, don't feel like you have to. But if you are a quilter and you feel like that's something you'd like to do, then, by all means, join me in Quiltsgiving and give someone a quilt unexpected on Thanksgiving Day. The first one that I gave was to my sister-in-law. She absolutely loved it, was completely surprised, was not expecting it. So I have a couple other ones. The tops are done. I just need to get them quilted for them to be the next 2 that I give out. So I'm going to make that a priority to try to get that done. At least one of them quilted so that I can give that at Thanksgiving. I am also thinking about, I don't know if I have time to do it this year, but I would like to do the same thing with my cross stitch. And I would refer to that as stitch giving, which same concept. Just somebody, and cross stitch will be a little easier because a lot of people, exchange smalls. You can just do something small and just here's a little something to let you know I thought about you today and I appreciate you and you're loved. So anyway, that's my little babbling about plans in my world. I thought this would be a super quick video. It's not. I'm almost an hour. So if you have stuck with me, I appreciate you listening to my babbling. I do intend to be back in 2 weeks. I think I should be able to film on the 16th. We have stuff going on that day, but there's some time between 2 events. So I think I will be able to do one then. In the meantime, I will be posting on my Instagram accounts any progress that I have. So I would love it if you would follow me over there as well. I would also like if you gave me a like. The little thumbs up. It helps my channel reach other people or something. Again, I don't know much about all that, but that's what my son says happens. So I would appreciate that. If you are thinking that you might like me, you could subscribe and not hit the notification bell so you wouldn't get blown up, with every time I post. If you would like to know, just hit the little bell and it'll notify you. Again, I am super appreciative of Carol and anybody else in the past that has given me a shout out. I do appreciate it. Always makes you feel good that there are people out there that are listening to you, and that, we do have a community out there, whether we get to talk to each and every one of those people every day or not. So I do appreciate you all very much, and I will see you in a couple weeks.